like King James.
Sounds like it is straight from the motherfucking cassette.
I hate when you get to a point in your career where people feel like they got you figured out and there's no more surprises. I like people to press play on my stuff and still be surprised.
Turn it up, baby. No introduction necessary, yo. Hey, yo. Okay. Hey, yo. Son.
Two, one.
Boys, going on today. Welcome to the Dusttin Bowerman Show. We're back once again. We're back on this Monday. It's week 4. We're back. We're almost done with the whole entire month of the show. That's absolutely crazy that we've made it that far. We should feel proud of ourselves, guys. Anthony, Max, are you here right now? Give us a. Are you guys here right now?
No.
I'm right here.
All right, let's do a round of applause, boys. We're back on this Manic Monday. Everybody's still here. We're still alive. You know, nothing bad's happened yet.
You don't have anything to hurt yourself today?
No. Or should I get something to hurt myself? Should I hurt myself immediately, like as soon as possible? Should I like stab myself with this
bang
one?
your toe on the
like auto asphyxiation or something.
Yeah, I need to find something to hurt myself. I mean, we have those Mountain Dew cans we still need to utilize. We still need to use that somehow. But anyway, Manic Monday. Speaking of which, since we've kind of moved from topic to topic and it bounced all over the place, and I was a little bit slow to get onto the set today for the first time. Guys, today's now January 25th, all right? And on today, we have a few interesting topics we're going to talk about. And some of the very first topics I think need to be brought up here, okay? Because we can't hide from it. I got to be real. We've had some complaints, okay? I've had some complaints from the past weekend. Because basically this past weekend, the Nexus Cup just happened. And in the Nexus Cup, I recently just watched a few teams in the Overwatch League and I had some interesting things to say. People were a little bit upset about my power rankings that I came up with. They were upset about these power rankings I said. So, you know, we got to talk about that. We had some interesting debates there. Also, I have some brand new leaks, boys. Brand leaks. This is a very first massive leaks from Overwatch, guys. Huge leaks, okay? Insider information that only you can get watching this show. That's pretty freaking huge. And then also this streamer, a big Twitch streamer, refused to refund donations given to him. Apparently, the viewer tried to give $3.50 for some reason, but he instead wrote $350. So we'll talk about that. What is up with cheaters, guys? At this point, we have a segment now. We literally have a segment. We don't know what the name of it just yet is, but we have a damn segment for cheaters because there's been so many cheaters every fucking week. Literally every day at this point, we have cheaters in any game, in every game. It doesn't seem like it stops. It's unrelenting. We'll talk about Apex Legend cheaters. Team Vitality was fined $10,000 for stream sniping in a recent Counter-Strike event in Blast. That's huge information. That's a lot of money, and they had a stream on in the background. We'll talk about that. And then also Cloud9 Ziqo was banned with literally no explanation. The famous and popular World of Warcraft streamer and caster was banned. What the hell is going on with that? I have no idea. We'll talk about that in just a bit. Well, I have a little bit of an idea. That's what we're talking about it. Guys, obviously, first of all, I mean, this one's more on me and less on Anthony Max. The Overwatch Nexus Cup happened over the last weekend. And there are some big leaks that I have to tell you guys, okay? Some massive leaks. Some huge information. So, if you guys remember, if we can recollect our memory back to another stream we did, another broadcast we did maybe 2 weeks ago, or I think it might have been last week. I think it might have been last Monday, if my memory serves me correct. We talked about LA Valiant being a Chinese organization now. They were sold, for those of you that need to be caught up to date here, they were sold unofficially to a Chinese organization, right? The LA Valiant is now officially a Chinese organization, so they dropped all of their Western players. They're dropping all of their Western players, coaches, and staff in the process of going into a Chinese organization. Now, after this happened, we're wondering, what is going on? What is happening to these ex-LA Valiant players? Where are they going to go? Agilities, Kai, a.k.a. KSP from last year, Shax, you have Lastro, you have Dreamer, you have all of these great players on their team. Adam, that just got picked up from the past year. What the hell is happening to these players? Rain as well. Where are they going to go? So I've heard some rumors. I've heard some information from behind the scenes from undisclosed, from this, wait, Anthony, help me out. Disclosed sources, right?
That's
from
the one.
From sources that I can't really leak just yet, boys, okay? Shax is rumored, okay? This is not true just yet. This is not 100%, so don't take this as information that is solid 100%. But Shax might be going to the London Spitfires. Shax might be going to the London Spitfires. That would be huge if that happened. Shax is a fantastic player, a great player, actually, some would say. One of the best players for the LA Valiant in previous years. And then I've also heard from behind the scenes, from somewhere unknown, that the Atlanta Reign has signed a new player. They have officially signed a new player, apparently, according to sources, that there's a new player on the roster that's unannounced just yet. Now, I know who that is, but I'm not sure if I could leak it just yet. I don't know if this is information I can exactly tell. But the information that they signed a new player is actually news that I do know. This is 100% a fact. Is the Atlanta Reign signing a new player? People are excited. People are wondering. I didn't even know they had the new player until the past weekend happened. I had no idea that this was even a thing. But apparently it is. And now they're signing a new player, and I think this player will actually have massive impact on the team, and people will start to understand me putting them so high on my rankings. People will start to understand why Atlanta Reign is so high on these goddamn rankings, and that's also another topic I can lead into. Recently, I just made a power rankings, and people were not excited. People were not happy about my power rankings over the past weekend. People were not happy about me critiquing Dallas Fuel. People were not happy about me putting Florida Mayhem so high and London Spitfires so low. Well, guess what, guys? I don't give a shit. I don't give a fuck about what you think. I'm going to put my opinions out there, and they're going to be 100%, unfiltered. They're 100%, correct information based on my mind, because guess what? This show does not give a shit about your opinions. We only care about the actual facts and the actual information that I want to work with here, okay? And this is actually due to the fact that people disagree with my opinions quite a bit. Who would have thought that people disagree with my opinions, guys? I mean, Anthony Max, that's not possible, right? There's no way in the history that somebody could critique it or actually go against my opinions. How
many times have I said you're stupid or had the wrong opinion?
I think
just this weekend alone.
Yeah, I think every time.
Have you been wrong?
Well, in my head, never. But according to Anthony, all the time. So literally every situation.
Every time ever. Every single word, he's wrong.
Yeah. At this point, we're on two conflicting territories, Max, here. We're in two opposite sides of the spectrum. Where do you lie? Where's your allegiance?
You're dumb.
What?
Thank you.
What do you mean? I can't have both my co-hosts call me stupid.
Who's your top three in the power rankings?
Top three in the power rankings in the Western Conference, because there's two different conferences.
Oh, right.
Although I probably, I guess I should have done an overall one, Max. Maybe you're right. I should have made an overall power rankings, because at the end of the year they play against each other anyways. So I guess, but I'll do an overall, and I'll do a Western and Eastern conference, guys. I'll do a Western and Eastern side overall. Okay, I'll do the overall one. Overall, I think San Francisco Shock is still the best team in the Overwatch League. I don't think much has changed. Maybe it will. Maybe this is the downfall of San Francisco Shock. Okay, I take it back. Guys, I take it back. I have important news. Officially, according to this stream right now, and according to what happened in my brain, how many cogs have been spinning inside of my brain, the Seoul Dynasty is the best team in the Overwatch League. Seoul Dynasty is the best team in the Overwatch League. I don't give a shit. I don't give a fuck. Best team in the Overwatch League. Best team.
Where did this opinion come from?
I don't know. Just this past weekend, Nexus Cup, watching them play, seeing Profit pop off again. Their team is goated. Their team is insane.
They did pretty well. I was watching too, but it was what the heck?
Yeah. Well, listen,
all right.
I know Arnold. Okay, listen, I might be paid off here. This might be a paid off situation, because Arnold, Gen G's COO, they're literally chief operations officer. I think that's what it is, right? He came into my stream, my Twitch stream, and gifted 10 gifted subs. So, listen, take my opinion with a grain of salt here. Take my opinion with a grain of salt and move along. I think San Francisco Shock is number 2 in the list, though. Number 2, and people are going to be absolutely upset about that, guys. I know. Listen, upset. You don't understand. The people are going to be extremely upset about this one. Okay? People are going to be extremely upset. And I understand. I get it. I totally understand if you hate me after this or think my opinion's stupid. But guess what? Seoul looked great this past weekend. And I think it's time for Shock to fall. I think it's time. People are going to call me ridiculous. Clip this fucking right now. People are going to call me stupid right now. People are going to call me ridiculous. They're going to say, what the fuck is Dusttin on about right now? Who's this crazy guy speaking out his ass? Well, guess what? I promise you a year from now, San Francisco Shock's not going to be the best team in the world. And people are going to be like, oh, he was right. Or they just won't even credit it. Well, guess what? It's going to happen. I'm sorry. Shock is great. Shock has been great. But I think it's time for their downfall. I think it's time for them to fall down. I think it's time for the colossal titan to topple over and for another team to take over. And I think that team is Soul Dynasty. Now, one of these two things are going to be wrong. I understand that. But at least one of them will right. Either Soul Dynasty will be a good team, or San Francisco Shock will be toppled down and will not be a good team anymore. Or not be be the best team in the Overwatch League. They'll still be a top team, but I don't know if they'll be the number one team in the Overwatch League. I think they have too many pickups going on this year. I think Nero's great, good player. It's just something tells me that this just roster won't work out that well. Something is odd to me now. It just feels weird, which is different than my power rankings that I made the other day. Listen, we change our opinion every second of every hour. Okay, that's why it's
That's
Manic
why
Monday.
you can't be trusted.
No, what do you mean? People trust politicians.
It hasn't even been a day or two.
People fucking trust politicians, and they change the goddamn election what their goddamn their whole political party is. What do you mean? I can change
Well,
my
at least
opinion
they have
on
their reasons.
What is their reasons, huh? More money in their pockets?
Hey, that's
More
a
money in
pretty
their
good
damn
reason.
pockets?
Yeah.
Yeah,
My
mine's
opinions
not.
can, in fact, be bought.
Yeah, my stupid opinions don't actually have don't have any monetary value coming to them. It's just people think I look more like an idiot is more that happens, it seems. But listen, I mean, this is exactly what's going on, and this is the takes that we have today. Only because I just don't statistically they can't win 3 chips in a row. Like there's no way.
All right. But
There's no way.
what is your top 3 overall? I'm thinking Gladiators is up there, right?
Gladiators is pretty good. I don't know if I would put them top 3 though. I don't really know if I'll put Gladiators top 3. A lot of people say they're top 3, Anthony. Like they definitely agree with you. Like the general consensus is that they're a top team. Overall, I don't know. I don't really know though, because guess what? I think at least people can say with like a common consensus, the top 3 teams in Overwatch League are San Francisco Shock. In no specific order. San Francisco Shock, Soul Dynasty, and Shanghai Dragons. Yeah. I think those 3 teams are probably the consensus top 3 Overwatch League teams right now. I think Gliders has a chance to be a top team, but I don't know if they will be. Like I don't personally believe they will be a top 3 team in the Overwatch League. I think just in terms of my opinion. But I think those are the top 3 teams in Overwatch League. I think the East is pretty stacked. Like the East is stacked this year. There's a lot of good teams. There's only like 1 or 2 bad teams in the East this year in the Overwatch League in their conference. And even those bottom teams are still better than some of the bottom teams in the West. But that's just how it works because they have less teams in the conference too. So it's just, it's easier to be the better conference when there's less teams in the conference as well. People are going to be upset about that. But speaking about people that are actually upset with my takes and what we said in the past, Johnny Reinforce mentioned how we were a clickbait stream. They mentioned how we are a clickbait YouTube channel. While in a Plat Chat podcast, for those of you that don't know, Plat Chat is a podcast hosted by some commentators in the Overwatch scene, some top commentators, some great people, fantastic individuals. The whole broadcast is full of awesome people. Reinforce is pretty awesome. Sideshow is pretty awesome. Bren, Jaws, I think, is there. They have a Valorant guy. I don't know who he is. Shit, I feel bad. I don't know who he is. But they have, who am I missing? They have a couple other guys on the show. Anyways, the top show in Overwatch Podcast, Valorant Podcast, check them out, Plat Chat. They shouted us out on their show. They said, Sideshow said that we talked about the LA Valiant rumors and that I talked about it on the show. And they said that they were like, okay, this is cool that they're talking about this. Is like, oh, this is awesome for me that he's doing this. They gave some nice words to be said. They said some awesome things to say. But then Reinforce controversially said, he said, you know what you're doing, dog man. You know what you're doing. Yes, these videos. He like flipped out. He had like a whole spasm, basically. He had a fucking panic attack in his voice because he didn't like the content we're putting out. He didn't like the YouTube channel videos, the highlights we put out daily, 4 days a week or 4 times a day, live every day, 5 days a week. He did not appreciate what we had to be said. He did not appreciate what I've been saying. And this has been a common consensus in the Overwatch scene, in the competitive Overwatch scene, is that I'm a clickbaiter, that I'm a clickbait artist. I'm not. Guess what? If any of you even watch those videos, you go back and watch those highlights, 99% of those highlights have the information that was said in the title. 99.99% of each video actually has what was said in the title in the damn video. So how is that clickbait? Tell me how that's clickbait. Johnny, tell me how that's clickbait. It's not. It's not clickbait reinforced. Guess what? It's actually what's in the video that's happening. It's actually what's going on in the title and in the thumbnail. So guess what? Get your head out your ass, son, and actually watch the videos. Rant done. Reinforce, I love you still. You're still a great guy, but you're wrong about this information. You're wrong in the situation. Plat Chat's an awesome podcast. You're an awesome broadcaster. Everybody on Plat Chat is awesome and fantastic. Avast is sometimes on there. A guest we're going to have later. So we did, we respect them. It's not like we don't respect them. It's just, do you agree with their situation here, Max and Anthony? Are you going to sit there and let these other guys on another show on the internet call us clickbaiters? Are you going to let that happen?
He's got a point.
What do you mean he's got a point? What do you mean? What do you fucking mean?
Sometimes your rants, I don't know where they're going. They go a bit too far, and you just want to make people mad. I don't know why you want to incite people like that.
Why are you taking their sides, Max? Why are you taking their sides right now? This is fucked up.
I have only one side to take here, and is that it has to go against you.
Anthony, do you agree with this, man?
Hold on. I think first we should look at what he actually said.
Okay.
And saying he said it was full of hot takes, but he didn't have a conniption or anything unless this is... Or not, yeah. But I don't know. He's not saying what you said he said.
He definitely said something along those lines, though. I watched the thing. Okay, listen. Okay, I might be in a different boat here. Okay, I'm gonna put my foot up here while I think about this. Okay, because guess what? I understand. I get it. But at the same time, it's like in my head, I'm pulling Michael Jordan. You know what I'm saying? I'm pulling it. That's when I took it personal. I don't look at any positive things that are said about me. I don't look at any positive things that are said in the chats and Twitter and Reddit or whatever. I look at that 1%. I look at that 1%, the people shitting, the people trash talking, okay? And I look at that, I take it personal. Because guess what? It is personal. You know what I'm saying? This is the grind to the fucking top, and I don't give a shit what anybody else's opinion is. You know what I mean? I don't want to be full broadcasting my foot being up. I look like an idiot. I look like a complete idiot. But listen, regardless, we're taking this coup to the top. And if you're in the fucking way, Johnny Sins, reinforce, get the fuck out the way, boy. Get the fuck out the way, okay? And fuck
Are you saying that everything you say is completely what you believe in?
No. Yeah, no. What you Okay, yes.
Okay, that's better.
Yes, but it changes. Listen, it's manic. It's Manic Monday. Listen, it's Manic Monday. Listen, everything changes, everything flops, everything moves. Okay, you know what I'm saying? This specifically today on Monday is a day that's supposed to replicate what's going on in my head. You know what I mean? And manic means to be at a super high, super high level, super high like changing threads, you know what I'm saying? Changing timelines and shit like that. Like that, all that's happening right now on the show today. That's what's going on, okay? And that's why we got to shit on Reinforce here today. It's not because he's a bad person, but it's because his take on our show is wrong and he's offended us in the show. And yet you guys are agreeing with him. I can't believe this.
If he ever comes on this show, we'll back him up.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
If you have like a shout match, we'll shout with him.
This is fucked up, dude. This is absolutely fucked up. What's going on the show right now? All right, let's move along. I'm gonna gloss over that. I'm gonna gloss over the topics, dude. Yeah, well, you might have him on again. That would be a good guest if we can get Reinforced on. We've had a lot of awesome guests. Yeah, there we go. That's the exact thing he said. That's the exact thing he said. He would assume. Listen, that would be assuming he knows that we know what we're doing. I guess it is a compliment. I guess from what he.
What are we doing? I have no idea what we're doing sometimes.
Listen, we're reporting on the news. You know what I mean? We're reporting on the facts, reporting on esports. We're talking about everything esports. We're talking about every game possible, and we're giving our opinions on it. Okay, that's what we're doing here. We're giving not necessarily hot takes, but giving our opinions, giving our information, 2 cents on everything. You know,
maybe that's what you're here for. I know what I'm here for, and I want to hear more stories about your past. I want to hear more about the Poopinator.
No. Don't bring up the Poopinator again. Don't bring up. That was week 1. That was week 1 information.
I know it was week 1, but I want to hear more stories like it. It's good stuff.
Do we have any? I mean, we had the club story. I talked about the N-Layer club story. I talked about the Poopinator. I don't know if I should bring this one up. Okay, maybe I should. This one, people are gonna hate this one. I think Fried Wiener can report on this one. Fried Wiener's not the one in question. He's not the guy that did something wrong. I think I have to stand up for this one, though, boys. Okay? I think I have to stand up. So, in the Atlanta Rain mansion, as you know, as I mentioned in another video, we lived in a $20 million mansion. It was a very expensive place, extremely nice. It had a whole beginning area. You know what I'm saying? Like it was a huge area. Wayne Gretzky lived in the fucking area that we did. He lived in the same community. They had a golf course that you had to pay like 10 grand a month to be able to play golf on the fucking golf course. We couldn't even sniff it. We couldn't even go and smell the air on the golf course. If we walked on it, we would be sued millions of dollars. You know what I'm saying? It was not worth even going close to it just because of the fact that we could potentially get in big trouble. We would get in massive trouble if we went near that golf course. But in that same mansion, in that same community, in that same area, one of our players, Fried Wiener, went into another player's room. This player, I will not give away his information. I will not leak who this player was. I won't say who the player was. But he went into another player's room. He went to go use the bathroom. He was going in. He was like, oh, man, I got to take a piss. Fried Wiener one day just drank too much water upstairs near his bedroom. Walked 2 minutes because it's a big mansion. He spent about 2 minutes walking to this guy's room. I'm so close to saying his name on accident. He walked into the guy's room, went into the bathroom because you walk in basically as soon as you walk into that room, there's the bedroom. And then before the bedroom is on the left side when you walk in, there's a bathroom. So he walks into the bathroom. He uses the bathroom, goes over to wash his hands. And as soon as he goes for the soap, as soon as he sticks his hand out for the soap and presses the soap dispenser, he notices right next to the soap dispenser, there's a fleshlight. There's a fleshlight right on this kid's bathroom, on his bathroom's sink area. He just had a fleshlight just sitting there right in the open for everybody to see. According to Fried Wiener, this fleshlight was black and glossy and had some spikes attached to it.
Spikes?
This is according to Fried Wiener. Okay, according to FRD. So he immediately leaves the room. He immediately runs away and tells on the guy and says exactly his name to our face. He told us, he's like, guys, I just found a fleshlight in Blank's room. And then for the next month, we didn't tell, we didn't tell who Blank. Everybody knew, basically in the house, whose fleshlight it was. Everybody knew that he had one, but nobody said anything. So I don't even think that the guy actually knew that we knew he had a fleshlight. Actually, the more I'm thinking about it, I don't think he knew that we all knew he had a fleshlight that he cleaned out and put on his countertop and on his sink in his bathroom. I don't think he actually had that information. It wasn't Gator. I can say that.
Listen, at least the guy is sanitary and took care of it.
Yeah, I know, but he's still, that's the thing is that, if you have a fleshlight, usually you got to be discreet, you know what I'm saying? If you buy a fleshlight 9000, you got to be discreet about it. You can't just be all, moist critical and have fucking, 20 different fleshlights and use them to do world records and shit or whatever. Have you ever seen Critical's YouTube videos?
Oh, I have. It's good stuff.
The Guinness World Record for hitting, I don't even remember what it was. It was like he was doing something with a fleshlight. He was like, I don't know. He does some weird shit, dude. Anyway, we knew how this guy had a fleshlight, and we kept that private information for the next the entire year, basically.
Well, now he knows. He's gonna watch this. He's like, oh,
yeah, now he knows you know.
He does. Maybe it'll be leaked. Maybe FRD will be willing to leak whose fleshlight he found. Maybe he'll give that information out one day.
Well, if you denied it's Gator.
No, don't, do not. Max.
How many will he deny?
Do not try to get this information out of me because this person will probably be livid, and there's a potential we have them on the show. So it's not like I want to ruin my relationship with any of my former teammates. You know what I'm saying? I need to keep this information locked and sealed. Okay, locked and
All right.
sealed and keep
Wait,
thrown away.
One question.
All right.
Is it you?
No, I didn't even have a
didn't
bathroom.
have a bathroom.
Yeah, I
Oh,
didn't
that's
have a
true.
bathroom, so it couldn't be me. I mean, if I did, then Erster would have seen it. Then because me and Erster shared bathrooms. I had my room, you know. Erster was right next to me. There was some stuff with Erster that was pretty interesting, because there were many a times when I was naked and he was naked. And you know how I told you how we had that doorway basically separating myself and Erster? At that same doorway, we did have like two curtains basically, like that were like taped to the top of the ceiling so that they could cover, you know, both of our rooms so we couldn't see each other. So we both, like on two sides, there was like, okay, to give you a visual, you walk into my room. There's a doorway to Erster's room, and then there's a fireplace, like a massive fireplace and a wall that covers like the whole area. It's like a living space that I was in. And then to the right of that, there's another doorway. So it's like two double doors, right? It's two double doors. And then we basically hung up two curtains on both sides that were supposed to be soundproofing and then also were vision blocking. So they hung up those two things on like sticky tape that like stick to the top of the walls and on both sides. So occasionally, like every couple weeks or so, the tape would loosen and loosen and loosen and then eventually would fall, you know? And then one time at like, you know, 9 or 10 p.m. in the afternoon, one of those curtains fell. And you know, one of us might have been, you know, nude in that situation, and it was incredibly awkward. You know what I mean? And you could definitely hear through the walls in general in that area as well. So and there were many a times when Erster was up late talking to his girlfriend, you know what I mean? At like midnight or whatever. So, you know, there's a lot of those stories in the Atlanta Rain house. I think we can keep that on a lock and key for today, though. You know what I mean? We'll keep that information quiet.
Got a nice
Yeah.
connection with Ursa.
Oh, that was a good one.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason that people call Erster sexy guy. You know what I'm saying? All right, we can move. Let's move along. You know what I'm saying? As Daniel said, move along, guy. Let's move along. We have a voicemail, I think. We spent about like 20 minutes talking about the Atlanta Rain house and Overwatch and reinforcements, plant chat, and stuff like that. But the voice of God, Sir Daniel Tolberto, is about to give us a viewer question from a voicemail. So as soon as we get that ready, let's go. I'll sit in silent for 30 seconds. Hopefully it gets played. And if it's not, that's incredibly awkward. And it's entirely on me. And,
we should be able to get this done. We should be able to get this done, Dustin. It's,
all right, what's going on, Daniel?
Make sure I have all the overlays and shit ready. We should be good. Let's go ahead and get this going.
All
hey,
right.
this is Logan Mans from
Logan?
Virginia, and I'm a huge Valiant fan. I just wanted to know where you guys think how the Valiant will actually perform now that they're transferring to the Pacific region and, well, the Asian, the South Korean region where they're going to be playing, and just how you think the roster is going to assimilate over there and how well they're going to play.
Well, that's a good question. That's a good question. I mean, I don't know if Logan actually knows that according to sources, according to Halo sources, the team is actually not going to be Western or a mixed roster. It's literally, apparently, according to rumors, according to Halo, according to twitter.com/HelloMeHalo or whatever his Twitter handle is, he basically said how the LA Valiant is departing with all of their players, all of their... Daniel, you're putting the new one on! You're leaking the new voice caller! Well, that's information for later, by the way. Don't worry about that. Do not worry about that for later, boys. Basically, Logan is not informed on the information. These players that are transferring to the Pacific region, to the Eastern region, are actually going to be Chinese. They're no longer going to be these players we talked about. Like I said, we have to wonder. I think to not just change Logan's question, but to kind of ask you the question, chat or Max and Anthony. You know what I'm saying? How do you think these former players on the LA Valiant will do? Do you think that KSP, AKA, I guess now he's Kai. He changed his name to Kai. That's information. Agilities, Adam, Dreamer, Lasher, Lane. How are these guys going to do on other teams, and are they going to be re-signed to Overwatch League teams? I think that's a question we have to ask. I think half of them will be, you know? I think half of them will be, but, you know, that's a good question. I don't think they're going to do good. I mean, to be honest with you, like, who can they sign at this point? It's like trying to sign new good players, like top players, within a little limited amount of time. They said there's going to be a Chinese organization, so maybe there's more Chinese talent, you know? But I don't think it's going to do good, especially if they're signing people so late, and especially if they knew that they're going to be a Chinese organization this late as well. This just makes me pissed off at fucking Immortals Gaming Club. Dude, that Immortals Gaming Club is such a shitty organization, bro. To actually fucking do this to these players, to actually only tell them after they were signed, months after that they were signed, months after the fucking roster lock happens. Oh, by the way, we're being sold to a Chinese organization and all of you are dropped. What the fuck? No, what the fuck is Immortals Gaming Club fucking doing right now? What a shitty company and what a shitty fucking organization to do this shit to these players. I'm legitimately upset. I'm legitimately upset at these fucking at this organization because guess what? Ever since Noah Winston stepped down as president, this company has gone to fucking shit. It has gone absolutely down the goddamn drain. LCS, fucking Counter-Strike, doesn't matter which company. You've wasted your goddamn money and you've wasted all of your players' times. You're wasting your goddamn time in this space. Get the fuck out. I'll show you the goddamn door because you don't belong in esports, Immortals Gaming Club. You should get the fuck out of here and go back to whatever expensive goddamn snake oil ass salesman company you are. Okay? Because you're dog shit of an organization and you deserve to fucking blow up right now. All right. Now we're going to move on. Sorry, that's just a heated topic because I hate Immortals Gaming Club organization. And they need to leave. They need to leave right now.
They deserve it for what they did to their players.
They've done shit in every goddamn game that they've been in. It doesn't matter what game, or Overwatch, Counter-Strike with MIBR. There's reports from Fallen that they apparently didn't even pay him at some times or something. There's been payment disputes. Like, what the fuck is going on in your goddamn organization to go through all this shit, bro? I just can't believe it. I can't believe it. Speaking of Manic Monday, we reached a peak of Manic level there. You know what I'm saying? We reached an absolute pinnacle. Speaking about people raging, because this also got me fucking pissed off earlier today. What is it, LosPollos? I was gonna say I was about to say in a very white accent. I was gonna say LosPollos. I was about to say LosPollos. LosPollos apparently refused to refund the donation. This was a big thing on live stream fails today and over the past couple of days. Basically what happened was this guy was streaming. He was streaming on Twitch. He was chilling. He was having a good time. This guy donated $350 and then asked. He said, hey, I didn't mean to do that. I meant to donate $3.50. I meant to donate $3.50. I'm sorry. Can I get my money back? Is what he told LosPollos. And LosPollos went out. And then immediately after that, he said, he pretty much raged. He was like, bro, what the fuck? No, I'm not doing this shit. I'm not giving you your money back. He kind of said that with in different terms for pretty much the better part of 45 seconds in the Twitch clip. And the reaction on live stream fails was not positive. It was not positive. We all looked at it before the stream. The reaction he got from a live stream fails was not good. It was so bad that actually he had to come and make a comment on Twitter. He had to go comment on Twitter. He said, hey, I gave this guy's money back. Everything's solved. But he also managed to, in that same thing, dox the guy. And Reddit obviously had a field day with that. He gave away the guy's information on his Twitter. He said his first name and last name twice over and basically doxed the guys who said, he was like, hey, guy, I'm broke right now. I'm having financial struggles, you know. And it's like this whole situation is just fucking stupid. Like, everybody's in the wrong here. Livestream fails is in the wrong. The streamer LosPollos is in the wrong. The guy who donated $350 is in the fucking wrong. Like, if you're financially unstable right now, why are you gifting a streamer $350? Even $3.50. Why are you giving somebody money, a millionaire at this point, because that guy probably makes, I think he's a big streamer on Twitch, LosPollos. He's a gambler and he's a big streamer. Why are you giving a millionaire fucking money on Twitch? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're in a financial problem, what's wrong with you? Everybody's in the wrong here. Max and Anthony, what's your guys' take on LosPollos refusing to give the money back? And what's your take on this, basically?
I mean, at least he did give it back. You know, after all the feedback.
He still had to pay the chargeback fee or whatever, or the refund fee.
Yeah. I don't know who's in the wrong for this.
It's worth being upset about because, then he has
for
to
him?
No, I mean, yeah, because if you take the $350 out of what you're sending back, you still had to pay back $20. So it's worth being upset about, right? But you still shouldn't fuck that up. Like, how do you put those 2 extra zeros in? How do you send $350 instead of $3.50, right?
See, the thing is, Anthony, I was listening to you until I saw for the first 2 seconds that your bed was not made. You know what I mean? Like,
Bro.
I was just distracted that your bed wasn't made, and I just was like,
Why you gotta call him out every week, man?
this is what he gets. This is what you guys get for calling me out. Fuck you. I'm getting my revenge. I'm getting my fucking revenge. I don't care if you have some insightful information for me. I'm getting my goddamn revenge right now.
That's why I got the wall back here.
Hey, exactly. Yeah, you're fine. You're good. Max's
Max
bed's
is right
my
against the
bed's
wall.
also my bed's also not made, but guess what? It's also not in frame, so I'm also pretty lucky here. Poor Anthony. No, I agree. I think in this situation, he's actually probably the least in the wrong, because I imagine in the past he's gotten donations from people that were asking for a refund as well, and he's had to give the chargeback money. Like, I can't imagine that he's been happy with that scenario, you know? And then he's like, it builds up, it builds up, and builds up, and then on top of that, it's his community, it's his stream. And then some fucking clip chimp comes out of nowhere just to clip him doing this shit, and probably doesn't even watch his stream for his content. It's probably just looking for only ways to get people upset, which is kind of what live stream fails people do to kind of get like notoriety and clout and whatever and stuff like that. Like, it's a pretty common thing, you know, to kind of go out of their way to absolutely shit on some streamers that have been around. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of a part of the whole phenomenon of live stream fails. Which they do some good things, like Live Stream Fails does some good things, like they can make streamers big and stuff like that. But they also do a lot of bad things, like in this scenario where they're trying to, like, usually what happens on Live Stream Fails is that they'll kind of push the boundaries over and over and over and over again, and eventually, you know what I'm saying? Eventually it breaks and then people kind of rebuttal on each other, like they fight each other or whatever. But like usually it's like they'll double down. Like the entire community will kind of keep doubling down on somebody until it's like too much money and they're in debt, but basically is what happens. And in this situation, they kind of see what they did right, but they also like the top comment on LosPollos talking about his Twitter was exactly what I said. It was like, they're like, oh, did he just dox this guy, by the way? So they kind of like in a way, they're like indirectly making themselves look better. You know what I mean? Like they're always in ways trying to find out how they can make themselves look like they're in the right and not the streamer, which is fine. It's part of a community. You know what I'm saying? The smartest people in the community are the ones always at the top of the Reddit post, obviously. The top most, as you know, the highest upvoted person on Reddit is always the smartest person. Everybody knows this, you know? It's just a common thing in Reddit, you know? Smartest person, the smartest manipulator, rather. You can say that. You can say they're the smartest manipulator. You know what I mean? Because, you know, they don't have to be right, but if they manipulate the community into thinking they're right, big brain. Big brain, you know what I'm saying? All right, we'll move with topics because Toyota probably wants to move topics here. Guys, we have a brand new segment on the show. I present to you, what's with all these cheaters? No, I don't even know if we have a good segment name just yet. I don't think we have a good segment name just yet, but basically, Apex Legends has cheaters in it. But we're talking about cheaters like every day here, guys. It feels like literally every day. Every fucking day that we're live on YouTube talking about shit. Every day we're live with our show. There's a brand new cheating scandal. Whether that's in relationships, whether that's in cheating in game, whether that's cheating through other means. It's like every scenario has some form of cheats. It's like we can't escape it, right, guys? There's no way that there's this many cheaters in Apex Legends and in Overwatch, Counter-Strike, whatever, Rainbow Six. Why are there so many fucking cheaters? Seriously, like, what the hell?
Easy? I don't know. We've gone
easy.
over this before. Like, why, especially in competitive play, it's just not worth it.
No, it's not.
You get caught.
You're gonna get caught.
You won't be able to go back unless you go to Valorant.
Unless you go to Valorant, yeah, that's what we've learned. That's what we learned. These two people that got banned off the Apex Legends ladder. Just go to Valorant. Just go swip to Valorant, you know what I'm saying? That's a safe haven for everybody. Valorant's a safe haven for, you know, for people that have cheated, basically. That's just like for people that have thrown matches, you know? The whole gambit. If you're in some trouble here with your old career in esports, just go swap to Valorant. You'll be saved. Everything is okay and forgiven there. You know what I mean? Everything will be safe for you.
Until
but
there's
basically
cheaters there.
There's a bunch of cheaters there. There's people just absolutely just trolling their ass off.
Well, have we talked about Valorant cheaters yet?
We have. Yeah, there was a guy that was kicked off a team, the Movie Star Riders, if you remember, last week, I think, actually. I don't remember his name exactly. It was something. Anyway, he got banned for cheating in that game. I guess there's no point in even shouting out a cheater. But Valorant has had their own issues and then kicked their own guys. But people have been cheating everywhere. Basically, in Apex Legends, this guy was, if I pull up the information, 2 of the highest ranked Apex Legends players were banned for cheats, and a handful of professional players made the complaints like directly to Respawn. I imagine how it's like probably like Overwatch, where Overwatch players have a server with the game devs and stuff like that. They probably have that all set up and that whole information. You know what I mean? Like they probably can do that, where they have direct feedback to the developers and their cheat engine people or whatever they have. And it seems like in this scenario, 2 top 10 players in Apex Legends ladder were banned, and that's pretty bad. I mean, Anthony, you played Apex the other day. Did you run into any cheaters when you played?
No, not that I'm aware of. You
So
just
it's
know
not-
that I hate controller players.
Okay.
Almost feels like cheating sometimes.
Yeah.
In very specific range fights.
Are we about to have another debate about
in very
controller players,
specific
Anthony?
conditions? It feels like cheating.
So you're not
That's
going to
about it.
exactly. You're trying to cover your bases here, basically.
Yes.
You don't want to go on about controller players and how you hate
Oh,
them.
you
and
already
they're-
know how I hate it. That's it.
Okay, well, I mean, from words you've said off stream, I mean, it seems like you're basically these people have stolen millions of dollars from banks. Seems like controller players have done something to you and your family personally that you're not happy with. Do you want to rant about what you've said off stream to the?
No, I'm good. I just hate it.
Okay, all right. Well, Anthony officially hates cheaters and controller players and thinks they're cheaters in every sense possible.
In
of the
specific
word.
conditions.
No. From what you said, from what I heard from you, from your voice off stream, to quote you from off stream, you basically
Hold on.
think they're cheaters in every scenario possible.
Hold on, I have never said these words. It's putting words
You
in my
haven't.
mouth.
You haven't.
What'd you say?
I just want to put words in your mouth. Yeah.
What'd you say about their mothers too?
Yeah. Would you? No. What, me?
No,
Oh.
Anthony. Hey,
Oh yeah, Anthony. Yeah, Anthony.
Something about how they deserve to die or something like that.
Hmm? This doesn't sound like me.
I don't know.
From what I heard off stream, that's exactly what you said. So. Yeah, and you also said what else did he say, Max? Can you what else did he say? What have we not talked about that Anthony said off stream about controller players and console
I don't
players?
know. That they deserve to eat a bag of dicks or something like that.
Yeah, he said the gambit. He's really gone over every information possible to absolutely shit on controller players. So if you are a console player / controller player, just know Anthony hates you and thinks that you should go to hell. Is basically what he said.
I never said those words.
I mean,
no, I'm not like opposed.
there's 2v1 versus you right now.
I'm not
There's two me.
opposed to console players as long as there's no crossplay.
See, that's not what you said off stream. Now you just said overall, you just had a generalized terms towards console players that you did not like them, and you think that they're cheaters.
I just
and
hate
dirty
controller
filth.
players.
No, you hate everybody at this point. I mean, you
I
might
mean,
as well
like,
say that.
I've said that from the start. As I hate everybody. I hate everything.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah,
Anthony hates everybody.
fair.
At least we can end on that. We can end on that. All right. Team Vitality, speaking about people hating on these guys, Team Vitality was fined 10 grand for cheating again. What the fuck? How? Dude, stream sniping. Basically what happened was in the VOD that we have seen during the tournament, I think it either was Blast or it was the tournament week before. I think it might have been the week before, but it also could be Blast. Basically, I think Shox was on the stream or Apex. I think it was Shox. Basically, in the background of his webcam, you could see that there was a television happening in the other room that had the exact same tournament they were playing in, live on broadcast, right behind him. So they were basically stream sniping. They were fined $10,000 for this because it's highly, obviously you should be stream sniping. There's cheats you could do out information through the, chat, through information through the VOD, through pretty much every information that possible. It's really bad. It's terrible. It's just against the rules. They were fined $10,000. And it's just not good. We're going to move topics actually though. So pretty much we talked about this before, Team Vitality, and the fact they've been banned is pretty big news. But actually we have breaking news. Breaking news according to what C9 Ziqo's Twitter. This was the next topic we're going to talk about. We have breaking fucking news, boys. Because it's perfect timing anyway leading up to Avast. C9 Ziqo is officially freed. He's unbanned from Twitch. He was banned from Twitch and now he's unbanned. Let's go. Let's go, Ziqo.
No, that's still kind of bad though.
What do you, Ziqo? Fuck.
Well,
God damn it.
Like, why was he banned in the first place?
Apparently, according to him, he was banned for saying racial slurs, but he never said racial slurs. So that's according to Twitch in the reply email, which he never got for a while, by the way, until he basically forced his way through. He was, according to them, banned for racial harassment or something along those lines. Wait, what is this? So apparently it said, according to Ziqo, it said, it could be because I was stretching, and they said that's a Nazi symbol.
Well, that was in his video where he was saying like
yeah,
like,
he
that
was
was
talking about all
after-
the reasons.
yeah, it really could have been anything because Twitch didn't do any no explanation at all.
Yeah. He's funny. He's a funny guy. I mean, there's a reason he's a popular streamer, and there's a reason some people were upset. It was actually incredibly upsetting. Basically, he was streaming for no reason given, and after 7 days, apparently, according to him, Twitch said it was for using a hateful slur during a VOD. A hateful slur during a VOD. In which he was basically in that situation, he was going over and he was like, okay, did I actually say anything? Did I actually say anything that could have possibly gotten me banned? And apparently, there was nothing. There was literally nothing. He went over actually everything. And then recently, just today, I don't even know how long ago, this was 4:36 p.m. So as of 15 minutes ago, basically, he said he was unbanned. And he's like, oh, thanks, everybody. Because there was a lot of support from XQC, from other streamers that were basically saying this is not right. Why is this guy banned with no explanation? It's finally Twitch streamers are, coming together. They're not creating a union really, but they're coming together for each other. You know what I mean? They're actually grouping up and being like, okay, why are you banned? Why are these people on ban and stuff like that? And they're like, where is the consistency? Because there hasn't been any consistency on Twitch. It's been random. Somebody can get banned for showing their nips on stream for 2 days, but the person watching the stream could be banned for 30 days. What the fuck's that about, dude? What the hell is that about? I know I've seen Reddit constantly go into these threads and be like, okay, why the fuck's this happening? Because guess what? The person that was just unbanned for showing a nip slip, guess what? Their OnlyFans is up $5,000 since that happened. Their OnlyFans is up $10,000 since that happened. So they get banned for 2 days for the trade-off of $10,000. Well, fuck it. Might as well show your tits right now. You know what I'm saying? Might as well just fucking flash the camera and get banned for 2 days. We're on YouTube. I think we can't get banned for showing a male nipple, right? I don't know if anybody could actually find the statistics.
I
would
know.
do it.
I don't know.
I would do an entire stream with my shirt off if I possibly could.
I'd rather you not. I'm looking at the screen.
Why don't you
I could just look
take off
off
your
screen.
shirt? Take off your shirt, Anthony.
No.
Come on. Take off your
This is
shirt.
harassment.
No, don't even put me in that boat. Don't even put me in that boat, Anthony.
The violent.
Don't even put me in that boat. Oh my god. Okay.
But apparently, people are speculating that they found the clip that Twitch is using. And
really?
So it's him in a call, and he says "fuck it," but it with his accent and voice, it sounded like a homophobic slur. You know what it is?
Oh, I was thinking, what could that was, my brain was slow there. I was like, what could he possibly say? That's the same thing happened, I think, with multiple people saying, the N-word, multiple people saying other stuff. So apparently, here's the clip. I don't know if we could actually show it. Basically, I mean, I probably shouldn't show it out of
Let's not.
But basically, yeah, he had his accent kind of made it. He has a deep voice, by the way. We talked about this too. So not only does he have an accent, but he has an incredibly deep voice. So it kind of makes it hard for people to decipher what he's saying, I guess. Kind of like Max, like Anthony. If you say "fuck it" right now, but fuck it, say "fuck it" really fast.
You're gonna get flagged too, then.
You're right.
I'm debating this. So I was like, you shouldn't.
Probably a good
we're on
idea.
YouTube.
No. I mean, YouTube is the better platform, though. I mean, based on what we've talked about, people have been saying okay, you don't see the top YouTube streamers, the top YouTube personalities get banned randomly for a fucking week or whatever, or for 30 days upward. Forcing got banned for 30 days or some shit, and I don't even think he knew what he was banned for. There's stuff like this that happens, or I think he was banned for an accidental something, all that shit happens all the time. But basically what happens over time is that somebody gets, banned more and more again. But, sometimes there's reasonable bans. If you look at Ice Poseidon, over time, he was constantly banned over and over and over again for so long. And then up to a certain point where he actually somebody called in a bomb threat while he was boarding a plane years ago. There's so much shit that happens, and Twitch is, good to act on some shit. You know what I mean? They're not, entirely bad, per se. But in this situation, it's what the fuck, man? Why was Ziqo banned? Why was he banned for this amount of time for literally, Apparently no reason besides his accent.
And to make it worse, apparently he was supposed to host like a Twitch awards show during his ban. And so apparently it was during his ban this happened. So off of it.
Jesus. So they squandered a big opportunity for him too.
Twitch has done that to a number of people.
Oh my God. Yeah, recently I saw they actually gave an award, like the Twitch awards, like yearly awards. They gave an award to a bot. Like this Twitch bot, like they said, like whoever rated the most during the past year, it was a bot. And they gave the award to a freaking a damn AI that spammed rated people over the course of the past year. Like, how do you fuck on the official Twitch awards? What the hell, man? What the fuck are you doing, Twitch? Like, come on, dude. This guy is trying to, make a career stream and have a good time with this chat being totally fine and normal, and then boom, taken off the server, taken off of fucking his income for 7 days for literally no reason. I guess he gets good publicity for it, I mean, it's not like it's that, like, he got a lot of people's support, and that's good. So this is what should have happened. You know what I mean? Like, this is the scenario which Twitch fucked up, and Ziqo reaps the rewards. The rewards are more people are going to come to his stream, more people are going to come watch him because he got banned for fucking 7 days for literally nothing. It's like, okay, that's a good thing. That's good for Ziqo, and it equals itself. Yin and yang, he finally got the positives out of it, and that's good for him. That's good for him. I think it's awesome. I mean, this happened over the course of 7 days, so that's pretty fucking crazy, bro. That's pretty crazy to happen over the course of 7 days. All right, we might as well bring our guest on the show. I think it's about time. It's about time to get him in here. I know we're a little bit early. As per usual, we're a little bit early to get our guest on, but poor Ziqo, man. Oh my God. There was actually some big events that happened over the past weekend, though. Besides that, Navi won their first tournament, by the way. I'll do a esports recap for the ones I was watching. Navi won recently in the Blast tournament, and then over the weekend, Atlanta FaZe got massively upset, and then also during the Shanghai Nexus Cup thing, Seoul Dynasty beat Shanghai Dragons. So that's also big news. I might upload the Nexus VOD another time, but we can give our guest a big old announcement for him. So our guest today is a man who rode the bench of one of the best and most controversial teams in Overwatch League in Season 1, a man who's created some amazing content for Team Envy, and a man whose bed sheets were definitely washed. Avast!
Let's go.
Let's go, Avast.
Sorry, I had to figure out my cue when to clap there. I think I was... This is my first time on the show. Did I not make it? Okay.
You didn't make it.
I'm here. Also, my sheets technically were not freshly washed. They were just made. They were just made.
Oh, so you were saying that they were dirty. Those were dirty.
Oh, they're like, I washed them like 2 days ago.
They're still not made, though. The bed is still not made. You haven't made your...
The bed is made.
It's not made. Look at the bed sheets, dude. They're all over the place.
They're not. Well, it's not made well. It's not made well. That's different. It is made.
For those that don't know, myself, Avast, and Aya, World of Warcraft host, were in an event recently in the fucking, oh man, I can't even remember the name. Kazakhstan.
Sounds like you're about to say Kazakhstan. No, it's Kanazaka.
Kanazaka. Thank you. I was in the whole tournament. I remembered it at the time, but in 1 year out the other. That's why you were the one carrying the show for me. I mean, as per usual, Avast has to carry me on the commentary desk, and that's why the shows look so great. It's because of this man right here. So thank you for coming on the show today, Avast. I appreciate it. I know we kind of moved a little bit fast, but it's good to have you. It
is. It's nice to be here. Today's my podcast day. My show day. Yeah? I did Plat Chat Valorant a little bit earlier. I had some meetings. Show up here, but honestly, your show is far more well run than Sideshow's show. 100%. This is not conjecture. This is just a fact because they're just. I've set a time every day. I wake up on time. I'm like, okay, we're doing Plat Chat today. And then they always, literally every single person is like, besides Kurt, their producer, every single person besides Kurt and myself are like 30 minutes late every time, without fail. Without fail, they are 30 minutes late. Wyatt is always getting a coffee. Bryn is taking a shit like every single time. So I'm like, I've learned from now on, I'm not going to wake up early for Plat Chat to get ready. I'm just going to roll out of bed and I'll have 45 minutes to spare and I'll still be good.
Well, speaking of which, I don't know if I think you were on that show. Were you on the one where Johnny was talking about us, where he shit on us a little bit there? Were you there for that?
Which show?
Basically, what happened? It was the one where LA Valiant was rumored to have being sold to a Chinese company. I don't know. I don't think you were there on that.
Why was Johnny? No, I'm not on Plat Chat Overwatch. I'm on Plat Chat Valorant. They're technically different shows covering different games.
Oh, yeah. Well, we could talk about that too in a little bit. But first, I want to cover this one. I mean, specifically. So Johnny's not on the Valorant one, right? I don't think he is.
Thank God, no, he's not.
Johnny. Well, basically, what happened was he said he was like, "I know what you're doing, Dustin. Your clickbait titles and stuff like that." He was basically going on about that. The entire purpose of my channel is clickbait. I mean, do you agree with them?
Wait, but why is he shitting? Wait, first of all, this is why was he shitting on me? That's all I care about. How was he shitting on me?
No, he wasn't shitting on you. He wasn't.
Oh, just you.
No, just me. Just me.
Oh,
just me.
Okay, I'm far less concerned about that. Well,
what the fuck? You're supposed to be my friend.
I mean,
you're supposed to cover for me.
I mean, well, do you agree? Are you making clickbaity titles, or do you think that's
no? No, you can't ask a question. I was asking you a question. I mean, do you agree with him? As you can't do this again. I'm not going to let you turn the question on me.
I mean, I'm going to say that if you're making clickbait, then that's a fair criticism. But I don't necessarily know if you're making clickbait. I think you're just making titles. Do the titles happen to potentially sound clickbaity? Yes. But I feel like that's not so you're not purposely designing it that way. Sometimes it's just you're discussing the events and everyone's like, oh, this is a current event, and they can sound clickbaity because it's a current event, right? I feel like that's a misinterpretation by Jonathan Reinforce. That's not his
So
last
it's a
name.
misinterpretation. Okay,
I think so. I think you're legitimately just designing the titles this way with no mean to make them clickbaity. People just interpret it as that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we could get a more popularized opinion. I mean, for this, as you know, I mean, like, obviously Reddit's always going to be shitting on that kind of stuff, whatever, But Plat Chat's a good and well-run show. Like I said, Johnny's a respectable person.
It's not a well-run show, at least not the Valorant branch.
Well, it's well-run because of the people on it, not because it's a well-run show in itself. That's, I mean. Like, it's like I don't know if it's the opposite of the tournament we were in actually was like pretty hectic over the weekend. The one we were in the other day was pretty hectic, but it turned out so like pretty damn solid, right?
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, I don't know. I mean, you haven't done a lot of technically it was in conjunction with the tier 1 event, but it was a tier 2.
It was on Overwatch Leaks channel, the Kanazaka.
But it wasn't really a tier 1 event, and this tier list of events I'm putting out as like a broadcast term of a tier 1 event is something that's very big. It's like a name brand. You're running with a league, will it be LCS or Overwatch League or a CS:GO major, etc. That event is tier 1 adjacent. It's like a sparkling water of a tier 1. It's like it has the hint of a tier 1, like in the next room type of thing, like a LaCroix of tier 1. It's like that vague flavor where it's not really. It's like a tier 1.5, and that's just kind of a tier 2, like a tier 2 1.5 production thing. It's like there's so much going on, and there's not that many people doing it that it gets super super hectic, and there's a lot of moving parts. And it's not really the fault of the broadcast and the producers running the show. It's more the fact that they just don't have enough people and baked in expertise.
Yeah, they don't have the manpower. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's just people don't understand or people don't give a shit about the production and stuff like that. I mean, that's kind of how that's how it works out, to be honest with you, in production or whatever. Most people they're like the unsung heroes almost in most situations. And most of the time, the situation at hands are kind of ignored.
You have
for the event itself.
Amount of manpower, actually. When I got into your whole Discord,
I'm lucky.
I was like, oh my, do you have more people working for the show than I expected, honestly?
I'm pretty lucky. I mean, the thing is, we're all out of jobs here. You know what I'm saying? We're all starving for money. We're all starved. We're all hungry. You know what I mean? This is a hungry show. We're trying to get ourselves to the top. And everybody here is incredibly helpful. I mean, I got incredibly lucky with Daniel, our director, Tolberto. He's amazing at his job. And everybody here is, trying to make it split even, obviously, everything. We're in this together. It's not just me. It's Anthony, Max, Tolberto, Samantha, Rin. And obviously, we're all working in this together. We're trying to make the dream work. And, well, now you, for this episode or for potential future episodes, we're all here together. Well, speaking of which, on something that does have high production value, what's the manpower on Team Envy, and how have you liked working with them for, the past year? On the for those of you who don't know, Avast actually worked with Team Envious over the past, or Team Envy, they're not Envious anymore, right?
I mean, they're still, I mean, technically you call them Envious, but I mean, yeah, they're just referred to as Team Envy, that's their overarching brand.
How have you liked working with them? Because obviously you stepped down from the commentator desk and Contenders, and then you moved over... Well, up pretty much.
Well, first of all, we're actually, you know what? We're gonna do a vocab list first. We're gonna do a vocab list. So commentary desk is there's desk. So this is important though. If you want to do more broadcast work, Dustin. So desk. I
need to increase my vocabulary.
Yeah, you do. You need to know the lingo. Okay. So desk is what we did yesterday for the the Kanazaka event. We're physically generally be an actual desk, but obviously that's not the case because it's virtual. But like it's people sitting on a desk. You have a host, you have some analysts, you're doing some bantering, you're discussing, you're analyzing the games, you're shuffling around the segments, right? Well, the commentators, aka the casters, are the people talking over the game. So you don't call it the commentator desk unless the desk was filled with casters. Okay, so that's your first broadcast vocab lesson. Okay, so you're gonna internalize that. We're gonna have a quiz on that.
So what if I consider myself a caster, but I'm not casting at the event? What if I identify as a caster?
If you are a caster but on the desk for that event, you are on the desk, but you just also do casting on the side, right? Like even though I've done casting in the past for that event when we're on the desk, we were desk hosts. You know, we're analysts.
Okay, all right, yeah, that does make sense.
Okay, so that
just feels like
that's helpful for the future for you. I think.
Okay, all right. Thanks.
Now
Bass.
to answer your second question for Envy,
I already forgot what that was.
It was Envy.
Okay,
yeah, I
Envy,
know.
yeah.
I had to go on a diatribe there. So like
I had to get roasted. Yeah, usual.
The Envy, I think something that's pretty interesting, and it's been discussed by a lot of casters in the industry, in particular Monty and also Monte Cristo, and also Papa Smithy, who's now the 100 Thieves GM for their LCS team. And used to be a color commentator in the LCK, or I think he was color commentator, I can't remember exactly. But the point being is that there's sort of a ceiling you start to hit as a caster and as a broadcast talent in esports often. And I don't think I was nearly there yet at all. I had just started my career, and I consider my career still ongoing for that. But a lot of these people end up moving to work with organizations or with developers because it offers a lot more stability and a little bit of a higher ceiling, and more you can be more involved with the process of how things work and decision making that broadcast talent in esports don't get to be a part of as much. And I was extremely lucky in that even after my first year of doing it, I had Hastro, who is now technically no longer the CEO of MB. He's like the chief gaming officer. So I was like the last original Hastro hire into Envy. I was like I'm the last guy that he himself.
So Hastro's no longer the CEO, like
no,
president?
He's the chief gaming officer. So he runs most of like the more of the esport team related stuff, and he's like involved a lot with the.
Why does that happen? By the way, I know we're kind of veering off. I know you were going on a tangent. I'm sorry about that. I'm wondering why does that happen? Because that same thing happened with Noah Winston, and you can kind of see the same thing with Immortals Gaming Club kind of going downhill, or like a similar thing.
Well, those are two separate instances. They're not. I wouldn't describe them as the same thing. Now, I wouldn't feel comfortable explaining exactly, nor would I say I have enough knowledge to necessarily say exactly why with Noah Winston and Immortals, like what happened there. But these are definitely two separate instances. At least in the aspect for Envy, Hastro himself said like, "Hey, I love esports. I helped build this org from the ground up, and I've run it from this way, and I've been the CEO for so long. And at this point, it needs someone that understands more business and running media than I can provide," is what he said. I know he loves esports, he loves teams, he loves competition, and that's his specialty. His specialty is not running a business and building this media empire that sort of, because orgs are sort of diversifying. Orgs are no longer just esports. Orgs are content houses. They're selling merch. They're working with broadcast deals, right? There's a whole lot of things involved in running an org now. And Hastro recognized, and I think that was a really, like, it's also the sign of a very smart person recognizing their own limits. And that is not his specialty anymore. And he needs someone else to take care of that. And to put Envy to the next step as like an organization, because his specialty is he built it and he knows esports, but he doesn't have the specialty for the other stuff necessarily. So he just stepped aside to let our new CEO, Adam Reimer, who had worked on a lot of he'd worked in like Hollywood. He'd done the stuff like he worked with Critical Role, which is that very popular D&D show. And Adam Reimer has been bringing in several different people into the organization to sort of expand it and build out our content house, which is more what I'm a part of. And that's what I saw early, is that when Hastro approached me about the offer about helping build out their content stuff, is that they wanted to build content creators / broadcasters, broadcast talent into their umbrella to start building out their own content team, because orgs have to also put out their own content now, a lot of content, and to meet a variety of different reasons, whether it be just like growing their brand, fulfilling sponsor deliverables, which is like one of the big things how orgs operate, is that their entire revenue is pretty much based off of sponsors. And so you need to fulfill requirements for these sponsors and show your value for why they're going to give you money to exist. So that's pretty much what Hastro approached me forward with that, and I felt like it was a really good opportunity. And honestly, myself personally, freelance life, it offers a lot of benefits, but it sucks.
Yeah.
It kind of sucks because in esports, at times your cash flow can be really tragic. Like you could spend months not getting paid from an event you did like 2 to 3 months ago. You could spend many months not getting paid, and then suddenly you get paid all at once. You could run into people that stiff you. It doesn't happen very often, but it does happen. And there's just like a whole like pretty much problems revolving around an ecosystem revolving around that. And
because you're not relying on yourself, you're relying on somebody else over the internet as well. On top of that,
I mean, generally they're reputable. You work with reputable brands more often than not, like the ESLs and other TOs and such like that. But it's just a mess at times, and it offers a lot of great flexibility, but it also offers a lot of instability in that respect. Along with the other side I talked about, where I was talking about how other people in the industry had said, like, pretty much for a lot of current broadcasters, you sort of hit a ceiling with sports broadcast.
Yeah, we talked about that the other day too. Yeah,
and that's why I was like, for myself, I was just really interested in what Envy was doing and sort of like kind of breaking free of that life. I still love broadcasting. I want to do that primarily as my thing, but I also just really like working with Envy and what they're trying to do there, and also not having to be fully independent at this time. Maybe later in the day, I'd go back to be fully independent, but for the foreseeable future, I think Envy's really, really great, and I love working with them and the vision they're trying to achieve.
Yeah, they've been pretty supportive. I mean, just because I think we have a viewer question, by the way, for you that actually is kind of on that topic. So if we can get that up. But I was like, I just wanted to comment, I guess, because like Team Envy, like you said, Hastro stepping down or not stepping down, kind of like laterally changing to another position, right? I mean, more towards on the esports side. And I think he said, and people can make that point on him, he's a very passionate guy. But it's like he's passionate about competitive esports and the competing side and stuff like that. And people have definitely been more focused, or at least people have been focused on Envy, like, okay, Envy's a really good competitive organization. They spend a ton of money on trying to be a competitive team in Overwatch and in Call of Duty. They did in Counter-Strike for a little bit, now they stepped away.
Not so much Counter-Strike.
Well, they tried. I'm not going to say, you can't say Hastro doesn't try. He may accidentally, do the wrong thing in some situations just because, I invested into the French team in Counter-Strike, and that's a fucking mess. It's always been a mess in Counter-Strike. Like, unfortunately, like, he accidentally went into the wrong direction. If he just invested in NA earlier, he could have gotten Stewie 2K and a couple other people, but instead he gets a bunch of French players that hate each other and break up after 6 months over and over and over again. It gets repetitive as shit. And then you're also throwing, like he said, you're throwing fucking money into a goddamn fireplace because it's so expensive.
Is a rough spot. I mean, I'm not sure what I can't comment exactly on what Envy's position in CSGO is anymore. I don't know if they're still going to be part of Flashpoint. I'm assuming they will be since they're a founding member. Like, I really don't know about that. But I do know for a fact that what Hastro spoke about after they released the CSGO team was CSGO and a lot of esports, but in particular CSGO is a dumpster fire of money. And that's not really unique only to CSGO. It's just CSGO is a very particular case because the tier 1 salaries and expectations for your rosters are so high, but because you have such a decentralized ecosystem and there is no real clear path to TOs building sustainability and securing broadcast rights, because that's really the number one biggest thing with how leagues are so much better overall for organizations is that it's a lot more stable. You have expectations of when you're broadcasting, when matches are happening. You can build broadcast rights.
More revenue.
And broadcast rights are like one of the primary ways that leagues can earn money. You can build like ways to sponsor deliverables to get sponsors. So it's really tough for CSGO because it's such a decentralized system to get any of that rate of return. And so and also just because of the fact that the expectation is esports must be free to view. There's no pay-per-view systems as much anymore. It's so hard to get, because even though CSGO, I think the most recent major, they got like 660K peak viewers, concurrent, like on their last broadcast. I think it was like the Na'Vi match versus Astralis, I believe.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
And I guarantee you, they probably made almost no money from that. I bet that was probably almost nothing.
Yeah, because it was
because how do you get that money? Where do you get the money from, right? Because you're not getting ad revenue because so many people have ad block. They have all these other things, so you can't get sufficient ad revenue. You can't really. It's tough to sell your ad spots simply because of the fact that you are just one tournament that's happening. You're not a whole league.
Not consistent.
Yeah, you're not building a whole consistent broadcast schedule. So, and then on top of that, you have the expectations of I have to pay my casters, my producers. I have to provide my prize pool, right? So it's very, very tough to build any sort of sustainability in CSGO currently.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and especially because I think that viewership was like split between like 5 different broadcasters, the like Brazilian one, the Russian one, and then the main one.
Yeah.
But I think Blast is like trying to, like, it seems like these TOs are kind of trying to focus on themselves more than anything, or like trying to create, you know, a brand of a TO. They're kind of weird. But speaking of something more consistent, to kind of go back, because I mean, obviously you're more passionate now about like esports as a whole, and then kind of investing in Team Envy and trying to be a little bit more broad instead of tunneling on just like playing, for example. And my question was like, would you ever go back to pro play? Probably not.
No,
right?
no,
I mean,
not at this point. No,
this
like,
is
pro
a
play,
swing of a different direction.
Some people, I think, like a great example is Jake. So Jake, he went back to the Houston Outlaws as a coach primarily, but he's technically under a player contract, so he could theoretically play if they needed him to. Jake is a guy that was born, he just loves, I mean, there's a lot of different things about it, but to distill it down to like one particular fragment, he just likes the competition aspect, right? He loves like that feeling of playing. And myself, and when I was in it and I was playing, and then not playing under Boston, and it's really great. And I think if my career had gone differently and I had played more, I might have still kept that passion. But a lot of people early on, like about midway through Boston, a lot of people started approaching me like, "Hey, you should do this. You're going to be really good at this. So we want you to do this." And that was like Monte Cristo, that was ZP, that was, you know, all these. That was the talent coordinators of Overwatch League. That they're not currently with them anymore, but they've moved on and said they've done their other stuff. So a lot of people started pushing me into broadcast, and I've been like, okay, well, let me, you know, maybe I would like this a lot. And I think it offers, for me at least, it's probably, I was never going to be an amazing player. I might have been an okay player if I had played, but I was never going to be an amazing player because I'm realistic enough to recognize that. I was always sort of going to make this career path of like player to something else. And so I think for me,
you can realize that while you're playing.
Yeah. I think I maybe could have had a longer career if situations had been different, but at the same time, I'm also realistic enough to realize, and people have come to me and told me like, hey, you're probably gonna be really good at this, to where I feel like this is a better path for me overall. And now with how much I love what I do currently, it's hard for me to go back to playing, because playing is a brutal
it's
grind.
stressful.
It's a brutal grind. As someone, and you were actually an active player for like 2 years, more, so you understand. I guess 3 years really.
Well, yeah, but I guess it's like 4 real. Well, the same thing for you. I mean, you were playing since Overwatch release, right?
Yeah. But then I've been out of the playing game since 2018 now. So it's been 3 years.
Yeah, true.
So it's been a long
still the
time.
same. Well, it's even worse online, to be honest, just because you don't really get to compete with fans. But just so we don't accidentally, like, because our viewer had a question. We obviously, so for you that if you don't know, we basically have like a voice line, like a voice call. So people can call in and leave a voicemail. Yeah. So if they like call in, we would have live callers, and we probably will eventually, but until when we like figure out how to like make sure we don't get terrible people on the broadcast on accident. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So in this situation, they basically called in early and left a voicemail. So if Daniel could play that, they had a question for you, something about Boston. Yeah, it was a question for you. If the voice of God is here.
My name is Justin Scheller. I'm from New Jersey. And I have a question for Avast. First of all, I'd like to say, Avast, I really enjoyed watching your Owl co-streams during Season 3. They were a delight to watch. You're a great talent. And I was just wondering real quick what you think of your old team, the Boston Uprising, and, you know, how they did in Season 3 versus their roster moves this off-season, and how you think they're going to fare against the rest of the competition. All right, have a great day, guys.
See you, Justin.
Well, thank you, Justin.
Thank you.
Well, first of all, thank you for the compliments. Though, as I've said many times, it's not me that makes the co-stream great. It's everything else, that everyone else involved with it, like the people that join, or my producers. Like, I feel like I'm not really the great part about it. It's everyone else involved that really makes the thing so special. But secondly, Boston did shit in Season 3. They did shit in Season 2. They've been a dumpster fire for 2 years. It's just an objective factor. The worst team in the league, for sure.
Even since Season 1, they've been a dumpster fire. It's just they had
Season 1 was great. Well, as someone that was personally there, Season 1 was great for the first 3 stages, I'd say.
Yeah.
At least, even if Boston wasn't amazing for Stage 1 and 2, for Stage 3, which was the perfect stage, right? The 10-0.
Yeah.
And that was when we had lost He Who Must Not Be Named, Dreamcasper, who I will name him now. Like,
it's too late.
But like, Boston had an incredible sort of thing going for it. And then Stage 4 happened, and there was all the stuff that where Krusty left the team, and the meta shifted, and there was a lot of like things that happened there to where it went poorly. So I wouldn't say Season 1 was a total disaster. Season 1 was actually pretty decent, all things considered.
Okay.
Season 2 and 3 were objective disasters, though, and the organization was disaster. Well, not as pretty much from looking at the results, I should say the organization was a disaster, and the reputation and such. So season 4, though, this upcoming season, or technically you're not supposed to season 4. It's supposed to say the 2021 season is the terms. You're supposed to beat off the year.
Oh yeah.
But I'm impressed. But I don't know if I'm impressed. I don't have enough of an inside knowledge to say like whether this changes to like them getting Lori, who's supposedly a very good coach, and getting all these retaining some talent like getting soon, getting other players I'm not sure if this is really a success of the organization or more of just an inelastic market in that there's only 20 teams. There's only 20 places you may go, and some of those teams were not hiring. But you know who probably was hiring? Boston. And so, like, when the Eternal roster exploded and Soon was looking for a home, and when Contenders players are looking for a home and they can't find one, right, then Boston will take you. They'll take you, right? And you'll have a paycheck. Now, I'm not saying that necessarily this was, like, the most bare minimum case for this year for Boston. This is just simply my hypothesis in terms of, like, what definitely plays a role.
Looking from the outside in, kind of.
Yeah, and so that's just how it works with that sort of thing. And so I'm going to say I am hopeful for Boston, honestly, compared to what's looking to be the London Spitfire, the current Paris Eternal roster, and whatever happens with Valiant, I don't know. Like, potentially Boston could actually be an okay roster, all things considered.
Yeah,
I'd say that's kind of my view on it.
Yeah, they might end up decently. Well, I wanted to touch back on the fact that you mentioned season 1. I mean, what was like? Because like you mentioned how season 1 was good, but there were always rumors that I don't know if you can touch on. If you can't, let me know. There were always rumors about the house and how you guys had like curtains up or something like that in the house. Like, was it a bad living condition or was that just like rumors?
Well, I would say bad is always relative, right? I personally wouldn't describe it.
You can't. If you start off on that, it's already looking bad. You can't start relative term.
In comparison to let's say Fusion, let's say like Philadelphia Fusion. Philadelphia Fusion had a beautiful mansion in like Burbank, California, which is not a cheap postal code at all. That's a very expensive area. No. We had apartments, and the apartments that we lived in were very close to the studio, the Burbank studio where Overwatch League was hosted out of for the first 2 seasons. And
okay. So I misheard then.
They were nice apartments, but the thing, the biggest thing, and I think part of like the stuff about what made it so overblown was that players are generally stupid. Players are generally really stupid in my personal experience. Not all of them, right? Not all players are dumb. Plenty of players are intelligent about what they do and also can grow wiser, they just get more age and more experience and learn new things, right? But a lot of players are just stupid because all they do, it's like the SpongeBob episode where they just do fine dining and breathing, Players, all they do is click their mouse and play video games and breathe. That's all they do for the most part. And they're also often very young, and they've been doing that for a while. And so players sometimes they look at what's next to them and they look at their situation like, I'm getting screwed. My situation's really bad. And I feel like that's what happens with sort of the rumors around like Boston. So as someone that lived in the Boston apartments, the apartments were perfectly fine. I would say they were nice. But the thing is, they were 2-bedroom apartments, and we had 3 people living in them. There were 2 rooms with 2 bathrooms with 2 full baths and then a half bath, right? So it was a 2.5 bath apartment with 2 bedrooms. So the third person would sleep in the living room there would be a bed there and a room divider. Was typically how a lot of the apartments worked in Boston. Not all of them, but a lot of them. So when I was on Boston, I had a room. Dream was one of my roommates, and then when he was
can I
go on? What?
Can I ask you a question? This might be a bad one. Are you ready? Was he a weird person? Was Dream a weird person, or
I mean, it's a tough question.
Do you know? Is it uncomfortable though? If we can move on, like seriously, I understand if this is actually
uncomfortable. It's a tough question to ask because I feel like you get very close to like stereotyping people, right? And I don't want to stereotype people, and I don't want to like, as in like their habits, and their personal.
Oh yeah.
And it doesn't feel. It's a bad. I feel like it's a bad look for me to say like this person like this, so they're weird, right? Like, and don't get me wrong,
to like give a stigma to it, like.
So I can't. It's tough for me to definitively say he was weird. Like in terms of like me being like, oh, this person's weird, you know, because I don't.
It's just like another person you live with, pretty much.
Yeah, and I don't like characterizing people necessarily off their habits, because there are people that might be considered mainstream weird that are perfectly nice, normal people. So I don't really necessarily, I can't really necessarily say if he was like weird or not weird, you know. So I can't comment on that necessarily, I would say.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, at least it doesn't sound that, because I mean, I was in a similar situation.
I would just say he seemed normal enough for an esport player from the at face value. At face value is what I would say.
Yeah, because like you said, everyone's stupid. Like, they're all just stupid idiots, and he's obviously stupid for what he did. But there's also a lot of other stupid people in the Overwatch League in general. I mean, at least players wise,
players everywhere. It's not
just
even
players
Overwatch
everywhere.
League. It's really just all players. So.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's young, because like you can
that sort of living situation. So you could describe that as worse than being in Philadelphia Fusion and worse than being on the Dallas Fuel. But was it objectively bad to live in a nice apartment close to the studio with all of your living expenses paid for, including most of your food, while you got to play video games?
It's pretty good.
Yeah, you know, I wouldn't say it was that bad. I would say it was worse than others, but it wasn't inherently bad. It was just worse.
No, it's because like in general for esports, we kind of want to, it seems like people want it to be like traditional sports, and it's just not there yet. So it's like people always consider like, okay, you're living in an apartment, you know, with 3 people living in an apartment, whereas, oh, you got Michael Jordan living in his own damn mansion or whatever during his league, getting paid millions of dollars or whatever. But even if you compare Michael Jordan to the players of now, of like today in the NBA, they're getting paid like this, like the same amount of money. The worst player in the NBA will get the same amount of money Michael Jordan was or whatever in the 90s. Oh, that's not accurate. I was just kind of giving it a more extreme version. Because like in the Atlanta Reign, we lived in a mansion, but I also had dividers and stuff like that. And Earth could hear through my door. We kind of went on that story a little bit. But yeah, I don't know. Like playing, it's, at least right now in Overwatch League, it seems like the circumstances are getting better, but also it's like everything's kind of changing. And like you said, a lot of teams are going budget this year. I mean, LA obviously getting sold to a Chinese roster potentially, rumors. But you know, the sources seem like he doubled down. Halo basically doubled down on Twitter. Like it seems kind of like it's going to happen. But a couple teams have been going budget into Overwatch League this year. Do you have a early power rankings, Avast?
I mean, I haven't actually done. I'm planning to do some at some point, but I haven't done one because I simply don't know what all the rosters are yet. You know, and like we still have so much time until the league starts, so I'm not like
we have till April
time necessarily to do them.
Yeah.
So I mean, like at this point, it's sort of like the big question mark remaining is just what is Valiant's roster, and so I'm sort of waiting. Like I'll say that probably all the best teams that were really good last year will be really good this year. Like obviously Shock and Dragons, you know. Theoretically, the Fuel should be good, but we've heard that before.
We had bad news.
And also, I don't count the Nexus Cup. I don't count scrims.
What?
I don't really care about that shit, honestly. I don't.
Okay.
I do not care. Don't care about preseason cups. I literally could not care any less about them. So it's
that is pretty fair. Yeah.
It's like it does not matter to me. People leaked like a Shock VOD of scrims, and they were getting pounded by New York, and I'm like, who cares? Who cares? Who cares? Do you want to go visit the Federal Scrimbucks Reserve where Zephyr's the chairman? Like, it doesn't matter. It literally doesn't matter.
Yeah, Outlaws had all the Scrimbucks last year, but they got last place in the West or whatever, right? Didn't they lose like first round to Boston or some shit?
They lost the Toilet Bowl to Boston, which was arguably one of the most epically terrible Overwatch matches of all time, if not the most epically terrible.
Yeah, that's the most embarrassing loss you could potentially get. Yeah. I mean, that's pretty bad. But they tried to make it like you just never, in my opinion, as a Houston Outlaws fan, you should never have expectations for your roster. It's just going to always be banned, unfortunately. Even with the addition of Jake. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that move, honestly. It's not that I think Jake is going to be a bad coach. It's more of I'm just interested to see what Jake's coaching style. As someone that's played with Jake in the past, and everyone obviously knows Jake is a really intelligent person and knows a lot about the game. Like everyone, like literally, you can see both those things just by talking to him. It's more of like this movie is either going to be amazing for the Outlaws, with Jake coming in as a coach, because maybe his expertise will help them alongside like Junk Buck. Because I really think that's going to do the majority of the heavy lifting for Houston. Is going to be Junk Buck. Like that's going to be where their hope to live or die is on him. But Jake can definitely be a huge asset to them and a very strong brand component. So for me, it's kind of like a coin flip as of if Jake will either be great or he'll kind of amount to like as a coach, because that's kind of how it feels. Because being a player And having the expertise as a player does not mean you're going to be good at coaching. It does not mean you're going to be good at casting. And just because you also know how to talk a lot and speak a lot does not necessarily mean you're going to be good and communicate well at that. Because Jake can write well. He used to write blogs. He can write well. He's obviously very articulate and he's intelligent when he speaks. But it doesn't always mean that he's going to be the best coach in the locker room and able to communicate his points effectively to the players and gain their respect, right? Like if I put Albert Einstein as a physics professor, Albert Einstein is not going to help you too much as a physics professor, honestly, because that man's a genius and he understands it better than you will. And also his skills aren't necessarily dedicated towards teaching. His skills are dedicated towards being a brilliant scientist. And
so tell that to Dream. Tell that to Dream. He hired an astrophysicist to prove his fucking Harvard astrophysicist to prove his Minecraft speedrun was legit.
Minecraft drama is next level, I must say. It is next level, but also wasn't there like a counter like that wasn't even a real astrophysicist or something? It was like it was like
they disproved everything basically.
Yeah, pretty much. That all just load of bullshit. Like I don't really know about that, but that's the point being. Like Jake, it's not asset or be like, you know, and it's not going to mean that Jake is any less intelligent or any worse at the things that he does, right? It's just maybe coaching might not be his, and that's sort of how I feel.
Yeah, he's a talker. He's got a lot of smart things to say, but it's just like how can he transfer it? And how many good coaches are there in Overwatch League that he can match to? I mean, he's proven already and kind of in the past that he can make transitions to other things. But it's like, I guess, does that transfer to coaching? You know, who knows?
And also,
who knows? Could Avast speak?
On that same note, and this applies to myself too, Jake and I have both been heavily enabled by ZP. Both of us were heavily enabled by ZP. I guarantee if you put Jake with different broadcasters in the Overwatch League that were not ZP, his casting debut probably would have been worse. It's not that he would have been bad at casting. It's just that his casting debut would have been worse because ZP is sort of underrated. Well, he's probably the best caster in terms of like enabling the pro player perspective. In terms of like he does a really good job of that, and he's really flexible with how he brings in people that are new to broadcasting but have a lot of wealth of knowledge, and he's great at understanding how to enable them to perform that. Like all casters have their strengths and their weaknesses like players. And ZP's is that he's really, really good at understanding how to enable former pro players to figure out broadcast and also he's like neurotic at what he does. Like he's a super neurotic broadcaster because he's really detail oriented. And so it's great to teach incoming people the fundamentals of broadcast. Like I really wouldn't know shit about broadcasting if I had worked. It wasn't for ZP. I had worked with like Uber, my first cast ever was with Uber. And it was like doing some Boston collegiate event that they used to do. And like Uber definitely taught me a lot of good habits and also was a great experience to work with to see how someone that's so good at what they do does it. Yeah. But Uber's sort of like, he's a very different fun guy. Very different style too. Like and also he's like if you were to get close to like what the Albert Einstein analogy, he's amazing at casting and he's amazing at understanding what he does, but he's not necessarily going to be the guy that's going to like teach you everything you need to know as a caster, as an upcoming caster, right? Because he's just there to like, he's going to help you out, but he's there to do a great broadcast and be amazing at what he does and to help to elevate you, but not necessarily to be your teacher, right?
Yeah, that's like Doa. Like Doa's like kind of like ZP, where he's very good at teaching how to cast and the fundamentals and stuff. Because I remember, at least when I reached out to Doa, I think even when I was like a contenders player, like a nobody basically, I was like, hey Doa, I need help with my casting. You know, like how can you help me? He gave me like a massive, like 2 pages basically of like stuff to improve on and what I was good at and stuff like that. Like there's just people that are really good at coming to casting, which is pretty rare. I mean, it's because like everything's like a dog-eat-dog world that it's just like you don't expect too many people to be helpful to that same degree that like ZP and other people have. And I mean, even personally, I mean, I've always had ZP is very opinionated on Twitter and stuff like that. Gets into arguments. He hasn't been as bad recently though. He's been pretty calm on the Twitter recently.
Format a little bit. And also, just to clarify, this is not saying that Uber would be a bad teacher at all.
No,
it's just more the fact that he's so talented at what he does, and that he expects the people that he works with to be as professionals as him, and he's great at bouncing off others. That's just not his specialty necessarily. Is like bringing up new people. His specialty is just being amazing at what he does and understanding the flow of everything else, and like
it's just more like ZP goes out of his way to kind of help people out and stuff like that.
His personality type, I think. And I think he really excels at teaching people with ex-professional experience how to be integrated into the broadcast.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense. I had one more question for you, Vest, before we let you go. I know we're kind of going over the time here, so I'm sorry about that. Do you have any plans for this upcoming year? I know people were going to ask that. We had a question actually for you for it, or are you going to wait to announce it, or do you have something in the wings? Because I know a lot of people, you've seen it. People want you to cast an Overwatch League and stuff like that, but obviously your plans might have changed or whatever, right?
Well, so the way I view it is, I turned down Overwatch League last year to do desk to work with Envy. They gave me an offer and I said no, because I wanted to work with Envy. And I don't currently have necessarily any concrete plans to join the league in its current state. I like working with Envy. I want to continue to work with Envy in the future. If there was able to be like a system work out where I could do both, because technically I wouldn't be the only one, because we have a guy that works for Envy. His name is Landon, and he's known by Lando, and he did CDL broadcast, actually. He was a caster for CDL last year towards the end of the season, when some casters left, and while also running the COD League content for a show. Yes, he was doing both at the same time.
Okay.
Obviously, it limited him with what he could do in the wider scope of Envy, with Envy, but he was still able to do both those roles for himself. So theoretically, that could be possible, right? But currently, I have no plans to join the broadcast. I really like where I currently fit in the ecosystem, where I'm working with Envy, doing my Envy things, and I get to cover both Overwatch and moving forward Valorant, because I really like Valorant. But Overwatch was always my baby. It's where I first started out. I really love Overwatch, and no plans to leave it. But I would, and also on top of that, but I get to go do all these other events, right? The Kanazaka Cup. I get to go do. I was a guest on the desk. Me and you, we did the All Stars casting, together. I get to go do a lot of Overwatch, and also this year I was supposed to show up to a bunch of different homesteads. I was supposed to be at all the Florida homesteads. I was supposed to be at all sorts of different other homesteads that were going to happen throughout last year if COVID hadn't happened, right? And I really like my position in where I can go do all these things, be Overwatch League adjacent and work directly with Overwatch League and do BlizzCon and stuff like that, but not necessarily be full-time in the league and get to work with Envy, I like that while doing the companion stream and doing some of that side content. I really enjoy what I have there, and I'm not ruling out working with the league by any means, and I would love to see if I can make it work. But right now there are literally no plans to do that. And there's nothing really in the works that I realistically with that.
Okay. Well, that's good information. Thanks for telling us. That's good to know. So I appreciate it, Vance. Thanks for coming on the show, bro. Maybe we'll bring you back in the future for, whatever. Or because everybody in production loves you, for giving them a shout out, talking about the beginning. That was really, because it's true. You're right. Everybody that helps out with our show, it's because we're coming from the ground up. I pretty much tried to get everybody organized over the course of the past 2 months, at least together. I wasn't organized at all. I was terrible at organizing, but I at least got them in the door, and then everybody got to figure themselves out. Rin does a lot of the background stuff. Daniel does the production. Obviously, everything here is amazing. It's one-man production, by the way. He's fucking awesome. But yeah, you're right. Especially their co-streams, a lot of that is very much so the people in the back and not necessarily the guy in front.
Without production, whether it be live events or some of these more produced shows type of streams, it's not possible without production people. Literally, we're just guys that talk, and everyone else does all the real work. So it's that's how I've always felt about it, and it's just it's why Solomon is the most important, influential member of Overwatch outside of Overwatch League. So it's kind of how my personal thoughts on it are.
Yeah, from what I've seen, Solomon's awesome too. But thanks for coming, Avast. Appreciate it, man. We'll let you hit on the way out. Maybe we'll come back for some Valorant stuff with you though in the future.
Oh, that sounds
That'd
great.
be awesome.
Whatever people watch Valorant, just talking about whatever, horseshoes and hand grenades, whatever it might be, I'm always down. But I appreciate having me on, and it's been super fun.
Thanks, Avast. We'll catch you later. All right. See you, man. All right, boys. That was Avast. Avast is fucking awesome, dude. Yep. Nice dude. Great guy. Thanks for coming to the show today, boys. Thanks for coming to the show. If you're just tuning in, that was Avast. And if you're just tuning out, that was also Avast. So we'll have some highlights and stuff like that to come out for you later today. And Anthony and Max, what's your take on today so far? It was a little bit. We got fucking fighty today. We got a bit livid. You guys are not really being real friends to me today. I'll just say that. You guys are being terrible friends to me today, dude. I can't believe it.
Aren't I always?
Yeah, you're always a terrible friend. Fuck you, Anthony.
I don't know whose fault that is.
It's Anthony's fault, not my fault. I mean, he's the one that hates on controller players and tell them that they should go to hell. You know what I mean? That's and on that note, thanks for coming to the show today. Thanks for coming, and make sure to subscribe. Thank you for Toberto, Samantha, like we said, the guys in the back, Rin as well for helping everybody out. Max and Anthony, thanks for coming on the show today. We had a fun time on this Manic Monday. Week 4. We're almost at the full month mark, guys. 4 weeks is a month, right? I mean, that's how it works, man.
Yeah, close
We're
enough.
almost there.
Hey, that is true in February. We're good.
Oh, yeah. We're almost back for a full month. I guess February 4th will be the official 1 month mark for us, right? Because we came on the scene on January 4th. So thanks for coming today, guys. Make sure you subscribe and like as well. And check out our highlights later if you missed anything from the stream. Catch you guys in the next one. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.
When are we playing Valorant, Dustin?
Ooh, I'm playing League of Legends. I'm an A-Ram player trying to get good